right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. And also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word of sincerity and truth. All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about the term anti-Semitism. I've been hearing it floating around on the news as of late. And what it seems like is happening is that anything that's said against Israel or anything that's said against Jewish people is being classified as anti-Semitism, right? And this is one of the reasons why I don't like titling something, right? For example, when they call us Black Hebrew Israelites, right? When you entitle it Black Hebrew Israelites, you now pigeonhole anything that that may be said regarding Black Hebrew Israelites all in the same bucket. It's a hate group, and now anything that is said can be dismissed as hatred because of that title, right? So anti-Semitism does the same thing. It allows anything that's being said about Jews, anything that's being said about the situation that's going on in Israel right now, to be pigeonholed and classified as hatred, and now you can be dismissive of it, and there's no allowance for nuance. There's no allowance for discussion. It's nope, that's anti-Semitism. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to talk about it, and I'm not going to think about it, and I'm not going to talk about it, right? And so this is the reason why I typically steer away from titling things, or I don't like to be titled, I should say, because again, you can classify that thing, and now you don't have to even think about it, right? But there is I'll say this, and this is really what the show is about. The term anti-Semitism and the way it's being used is a misnomer, right? Matter of fact, I didn't pull this up, but let's do that, right? How do you spell that? Misnomer. Misnomer. A wrong or inaccurate name or designation. A wrong or inaccurate use of a name or term, right? So this is really what the crux of the show is about. Not that there's no such thing as anti something, but that the term that they're using is a misnomer, right? Because let me go here. I'll start here. So I wanted to look it up to see like when they started. Excuse me, I got a little gas. I wanted to look up to see when they started using the term widely. Like you can go in and figure out when they started using the letter J, for instance. But when in my search, I found this article about anti-Semitism. So this organization actually defines it, the IHRA. They define anti-Semitism here. So I just wanted to read this really quick. It says anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, towards Jewish community institutions and religious facilities, right? And so this is pretty specific, right? But what's happening now is anything you say against the situation in Israel, anything you say regarding Jewish people, anything you say regarding their history or culture is now being classified as anti-Semitism, right? So it's not even being confined to their own definition of what anti-Semitism is. It's being there's this it's being swept with a broad stroke. So now anything you say is classified as anti-Semitism, right? But again, I wanted to show that that is a misnomer. So anti-Semitism is a compound word, right? So anti and then Semite. So I wanted to look those up, so I did. So anti is a Greek term, right? It says a word forming element of Greek origin, meaning against, opposed to, opposite of, instead, shortened to ant, before vowels and H from Old French anti, and directly from Latin anti, from Greek anti, over, against, opposite, instead, in the place of, right? So anti just means against. If you are, for instance, when the scriptures say anti-Messiah, or the scriptures will be written anti-Christ, but we say anti-Messiah, right? So an anti-Messiah could be anybody, right? It could be many people. Anybody who is against our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, they are anti Yahweh Shai. Okay. So then it's next word for anti-Semite or anti-Semitism, right? Is just the term Semite, right? It says a Jew, right? An Arab, okay? An Assyrian or Aramaean, right? An apparently isolated use from 1797 refers to the Semitic language group, uh, back formation from Semitic or else from French Semite, from modern Latin Semita, from late Latin Sem, Greek Shem, or boom, Shem, right? So really, if you are saying anything against any of the descendants of Shem, you are an anti-Semite, right? So one could argue, right, and this is me being a little facetious, but one could argue that what Israel or the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians or the Arabs that are in that land is also anti-Semitic, right? When we had a campaign here back in 2001, 2000, all the way through to today about Arabs being terrorists, that can be considered anti-Semitic as well, right? Because the term anti-Semite comes from being against the children of Shem, but somehow it's been changed to just mean hatred for Jews and their religion and their culture, right? But that's again a misnomer, right? So I wanted to first do this, okay? This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices," right? So let's look this up. His devices. Says mind, device, thought, a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes, right? So when it says, for we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, we are not ignorant of the things that he thinks, right? We're not ignorant to his purpose. We're not ignorant to his perception or his thoughts, right? Because what do the scriptures say in regards to that? Uh, upon let's see, what is it? Yep, here it is. Micah 2 and 1. This is Micah 2 and 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise," right? Was that device or was this the one? No, wow, this is wiles of the devil. So his wicked devices. So there's that word devise again, right? Iniquity. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, right? And so we understand what those devices are. We understand what that iniquity is, right? And this misnomer is nothing more than a device of the wicked, because they have unrighteously assumed that name, that Semite or that Jewish name, on themselves, right? And so if we say that, if we come out and say that the so-called Jewish people are not really Jews, right? That will be considered an anti-Semitic term or anti-Semitic thought process, right? So we understand that that's what they're doing. And if you think that it's not an attack on the men of the Lord that are on the highways and byways, then you're sadly mistaken. That term is being thrown out so that no one can say anything against them as they move to complete their enterprise. Okay. Um, so let me go here. This is Ephesians 6:11. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, right? So we look up that word wiles. You can already see methodia, um, cunning arts, deceit, craft, or trickery, right? So this is another wile or wiles of the devil, right? Their trickery. When you're taking this term, right, and you put everything that's against Jewish people within that term, that is a trick, right? Because now nobody can say anything against them, right? So I also pulled this up because it said that method, and we spoke about this camp yesterday. But MO, or modus operandi, right? A particular way or method, right, of doing something, especially one that is characteristic or well established, right? So we already know that these are the types of things that Esau does. They like to paint a bad guy. So when you use the term anti-Semite, you can make anybody that says anything against you a bad guy. Okay? So what is a Semite, right? So when you go into the scriptures, which is the work that is our reference to what these things mean, right? So for instance, right, when you speak about the Lord Yahweh Shai, if you're speaking about him outside of the scriptures, it wouldn't make much sense. You get all that information about the Lord Yahweh Shai from the scriptures. So you reference the scriptures, right? When you hear something like Shem, when you hear something like Japheth, right? When you hear something like salvation, right? You get those terms and those words from the scriptures. So it is right to then reference the scriptures to figure out what those things mean, right? So when you go here, this is Genesis, the 10th chapter, which is also dubbed the Table of Nations, right? And it outlines here who the sons of Ham were, who the sons of Shem were, and who the sons of Japheth were, right? So you can go here and read this. Start at the 22nd verse, Genesis 10 to 22. But I'm going to give you a visual of this to make it easier to see, right? So here is Shem, right? And it says the genealogy of Shem. Let's look up that word, genealogy. Genealogy. Okay, genealogy. In a narrow sense, a genealogy or a family tree traces the descendants of one person, whereas a family history traces the ancestors of one person. But the terms are often used interchangeably. A family history may include additional biographical information, family traditions, and the like. Okay, so they got an example of one here. I don't want to click it because I don't want to actually. I don't want to click on it, right? So I don't know whose genealogy this is actually. But this is a family tree, similar to what I'm getting ready to show you, right? So Shem, as we know, is the son of Noah, one of the sons of Noah. And if you read the scriptures, you understand that through Shem is where the promise would go, right? And through his descendancy is where the Lord Yahweh Shai comes from, or the one the world calls Jesus Christ, right? So this sifting that happened throughout history, right, was deliberate, right? But we know that the Lord Yahweh Shai came from Shem, right? So let's see some of the nations that come from Shem. So Elam, right? First one you see are the East Indians, right? Which you see here in this map. Matter of fact, I think I pulled that one up. Yep. So this is where Elam would be, right? In this area in East India. Okay. Let's look at some other ones, right? Aram, which are the Arameans, which is also where we come from. Let me see. Go back to that map. So if you, I think if I'm not mistaken, is around this area too. Of the Chaldees, which is where Abraham came from, and then we migrated over here to this land over here. Okay. So let's keep going. So when you look, you got this descendancy coming all the way down to our forefather Abraham, right? Now you got descendants of Abraham. Ishmael and Isaac were Abraham's two sons, right? So who is Ishmael? Ishmael today are the modern day Arabs, right? The proof of that is when you go back to Semite again. Look who's here: Jews, Arabs, Assyrians, and Arameans. Okay, these are all Semitic people. So it's not just the people that you see over there in the land today occupying our land, right? Those people are also Semites, but they are Semites by way of Esau. Okay, I'm trying to highlight. I'm forgetting this ain't typed, right? But they are Semites by this man, Esau, the Edomites. We are Semites by this man, Jacob. This is where the Israelites come from. Then you have Moabites, which are the modern day Chinese. And then you have the Ammonites, which are the modern day Japanese. All of these people on this family tree here are Semites. So anything you say against their descendants that is hateful or whatever they said. Let's go back to that. Uh, Let me see. Directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, towards Jewish community, institutions, and religion. Let me see. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals. I thought hate was in there for some reason. Oh, here we go. Hatred. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews, right? But this word in here, Semite, right, expands that to mean all of these people, right? So again, it is a misnomer, right? So I wanted to go and I wanted to show you something, right? I don't have it pulled up, but I do have it in front of me. But here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. Because I'm about to read some things from here. Oh, they do have a PDF. Let me see how easy it is to navigate through here. Because then I'll show you exactly what I'm reading. I need to go to page, what I have it, 15. Let's see. Page 15. Let's see if this is the right thing. Go through here. Page 15. Okay, it's a little different than mine, so it's not the 15th page necessarily. Let me see. I want to see something real quick. Rise. Let's find out. Let's just take our time here so I can show this to you. Hopefully this is it'll pull up like I have in my book here in front of me. Tradition 2. I think I need to go to 1. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, let me see. Second element of closest theology. Tradition. Is it tradition? No, this is rise. So it might be out of order. So let me see if I can sometimes on these PDFs you could do like a word search. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. Bear with me for just a second. If I don't find it quickly enough, I'll just read it from what I have in front of me. Let's do this. Because the origin of Eastern true. Notes. Notes. Alright, so I don't think this is gonna show me what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'll just read it. If you want to get the book, you can get the book. Maybe if you search around on Google a little bit, it'll give you some information here. But I'll just read it because I already have it. So I've had this book for many years. It's falling apart. But I wanted to, as I was thinking about this show, I kind of came over here to read some of the things that I had highlighted over the years. So so I went back through it just so I can read some of these things. So my argument here is that the people that are perpetuating anti-Semitism, right, are Semites for sure, right? But they are not Jews. Okay. So actually, that's not the one I wanted. But I'll start here. I'll start here. So this is on page 15 of that book, 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler. It says, this is the middle, and this is about the second paragraph in the middle of the page. It says, our investigations cannot go into problems pertaining to the history of ideas, but we must call the reader's attention to the matter of the Khazar kingdom's state religion. It was the Jewish faith which became the official religion of the ruling strata of society. Needless to say, the acceptance of the Jewish faith as the state religion of an ethnically non-Jewish people could be the subject of interesting speculations. We shall, however, confine ourselves to the remark that the official conversion, in defiance of Christian proselytizing by Byzantium, the Muslim influence from the East, and in spite of the political pressure of the new two powers, to a religion which had no support from any political power, but was persecuted by nearly all, has come as a surprise to all historians concerned with the Khazars, and cannot be considered as accidental, but must regard as a sign of the independent policy pursued by that kingdom. So they adopted this culture, right? This Israelite culture to maintain their independence from Christianity at that time and Islam at that time, right? And what this book does really well, I think, is it points out that those people that are calling themselves Jews today are not descendants of the Israelites, all right? But they're indeed European, which this makes me want to do a second part to this. I want to read more of this, but as I was reading that, I started to think of something. But I want to show you something. I had another thing pulled up, right? So this is Khazaria. Was the location of the Khazarian Empire. If you can see if I can get a better clear, right? So you had the Byzantine Empire here going west, right? And then you had Islam down here, right? And so to maintain their independence, they adopted the so-called Jewish culture or Judaism. But I was looking at something, and now that as I was reading it, I started thinking of something. So I might want to do a second part to this part of the information. But a lot of these people that were in this land were not Edomites, but they were Japhites. Where's the other map that I pulled up? Right here, right? So if you look, this is I think the Black Sea here. I wanted to show you that, right? So that's here. So if you look at that map, and if this map is true to form, then Khazaria, which is up in here in this area here, right, would then be Japheth's land. Okay. Um, so I want to do a second part to this. I won't do it now. I'm going to do a little more reading and research. But if I remember correctly, I think that's what Arthur Koestler is trying to say here. But there's another piece to this that I think should be noted. So that's what I'll do. I'll stop there. But the point is this, right? And for this show, that anti-Semitism, okay, as it is known today, is a misnomer, right? It is a misrepresentation to classify anything that people say against Jews as hatred, okay? But as we see here through the scriptures and through this map here, or this family tree, all of these people are Semites, all of them, okay? So and it technically, right? And I know the the black consciences don't like to hear this, but Edomite people, or so-called white people, are our relatives, very close relative. We come from the same man, Isaac, right? I know the I know the black consciences, they don't like to hear that, but we're very closely related to them, right? Yes, more than Ham, right? Which are the people that are no, I'm sorry, I was gonna say navigated, but the people that settled in this land. Okay. All right, so that's it, man. That's it. I think the point was made. Um, again, that they're using this term anti-Semitism, again, to classify anything that we say against them as hatred. So when you hear anti-Semitism, it is an onslaught or an all-out attack on the men of the Lord that are on the highways and byways prophesying the truth. And if you think it's not, you're sadly mistaken, right? They're setting the stage, right? They're making clear lines in the sand. Who's who? If you're anti-Semitite, you're on this side. If you're with Semites, then you're on this side, right? And they're gonna slowly start rolling out those or the show, if you will, right? So hopefully that was edifying. Again, as always, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect. And with that, I say shalom.